Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. I'm here with my PMP students in the making, or PMPs in the making. We are taking a look at various questions. These questions, some of you may have seen them in the past. They look very familiar, don't they? Or they will. This is going to help you better your chances of success on the exam. So I want you to decide for yourself what the answers are, and then I'll show you at the end what the answers truly are from the world of the PMI. All right, so let's take a look at the very first one. And here is your poll. Let's relaunch it and tell me what you think about this. And while we answer the questions, I am going to try to address some of the chats that come in. All right. Oh, thank you, Johanny. We're doing our job. We're doing our job. Yeah, that is, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. And it's good to slow down. Totally get what you're saying, Johanny. Very good. All right. Okay. I've only got 2 votes. All right, let's go ahead and end it. Let's share the results. And the answer to this one, my friends, using the process of elimination. There's some things here that are bogus and they are oxymorons. So, parametric, rough order of magnitude, is bogus because parametric is not ROM. Parametric is not the same as a rough order of magnitude. A rough order of magnitude is similar to an analogous estimate. So with those two contradictory statements there, we can delete D altogether. Doesn't make sense. All right. Now, even if you said parametric, parametric is garbage in, garbage out. So it really depends on how precise the information you're putting in is. All right. 3-point beta, even though this is not a bad one to use, but the question says the portfolio steering committee has required an estimate with a threshold of this. So which of these gives you a threshold of -5 to +10? This is where you need to remember in chapter 7, my friends, in estimate costs, right there at the beginning of the process, page 241, it says, the accuracy of a project estimate will increase as the project progresses through the project lifecycle. For example, a project in the initiation phase may have a ROM, rough order of magnitude estimate, in the range of -25 to +75. Very inaccurate all over the place, wideband. But later in the project, as more information is known, definitive estimates could narrow the range of accuracy to -5 to +10. So the answer to this one, my friends, is definitive. This is where you would choose definitive. Now, definitive is a type of bottom-up estimating. All right, so to make this extremely clear, I'm going to put a note here which says definitive. So definitive, which is the same as bottom up. That's what we're talking about. Definitive. Bottom up estimating is a method of estimating project duration or cost by aggregating the estimates of the lower level components of the WBS. It's much more accurate than anything else, okay? Analogous is all over the place, so that wouldn't be the answer, right? Minus 25 to plus 75, not good. All right, very good. So that is our first question. We've got about 9 more to look at before we hop off, but I don't want the fact that we're looking at questions to negate your questions for me. So if there are any burning issues on your mind that you want me to talk about or address, I want you to put them in the chat. All right, that's why we're having this, so I can support your final efforts. Let's take a look at the next one. Here is your poll. All right, I'll let you read it. 1 minute, 12 seconds. All right, let's end the poll. Share the results. All right, for this one, it's really a straightforward, in which process would you address channels of communication? This sounds very similar to communication requirements analysis. So the answer to this, my friends, is A. The communications management plan is developed to ensure that the appropriate messages are communicated to stakeholders. Now, the fact that it says these developers, external team, it couldn't make you think about stakeholders, but still, you need to stay anchored to the fact that a communications management plan will help you more in this one than a stakeholder engagement plan. All right, so these are the kind of questions you're going to face on the test. Relaunch the poll. Let's go. You work for a rug manufacturing company in Georgia, installing new cutting machines using smartphones and tablets to drive production. 3 weeks after implementation, the system is malfunctioning. I'll give you a minute, 12 seconds. All right, thank you very much. 3, 2, and 1. Let's end the poll. Share the results. And it seems like majority of us have gone with the final option at the bottom. So there's one overarching mindset about this question, and it's as follows. Understand the purpose of a change request before submitting it. With that in mind, if you go back to the question and you take a look and think about it. A system is malfunctioning. What is the first thing you would do? Think about it. You wouldn't submit a change request because you don't know what the change request should say. That change request, for all you know, could be corrective action, preventive action, defect repair, updates. But even when you've got an idea that this is likely to be a defect, you don't know for sure what kind of defect. It could just be a wiring issue. It could just be a configuration issue. You don't know. So you need to get down to the root cause. And that is why the answer to this one is D. All right, let's go to our next one. Let's relaunch. I will give you a minute. You're working as a project manager for a manufacturing firm specializing in grade 8 construction bolts. You receive complaints that a consignment shipped to a customer is of the wrong weight and length dimensions. What tool or technique should you use to determine if something needs to be changed? All right, it's 1:12 on the clock, and I know that you might need more time for this, but I have to be kind of like the PMI's exam. They give you 1 minute, 12 seconds, right? So I want to train you to get into the 1 minute, 12-second groove. Let's end the poll. Let's share the results. Very good. I'm glad we're getting a lot of engagement from this. Well done. So taking a look at this one, you got to ask yourself, what does that one do for me? So let's open up the PMBOK guide and let's go to our glossary. So taking a look at the letter H where we have histogram. Histogram, a bar chart that shows the graphical representation of numerical data. So taking a look and seeing the numerical data in a bar chart is not the best of things to help you because it says, how do you determine if something needs to be changed across the production line? The histogram is not a bad tool, but it's not the best tool compared to some of the others that are here. So having a histogram showing you the different dimensions, it's okay, but it's not the best. Okay? So we will cancel histogram for now. C, affinity diagram. Affinity diagrams are used to group ideas or information. That's all. It doesn't tell you anything. Scatter diagram. Remember the scatter diagram? What does it show you? It shows you if there's a relationship, either directly like that, or it could show you if there's an inverse relationship, but that's it. It does not tell you if something needs to be fixed on the production line. Let's take a look at the definition for control chart. Control chart, a graphic display of process data over time and against established control limits, which has a center line that exists in detecting a trend. See that? Of plotted values towards either control limit. It is going to tell you if there is something wrong on that production line. So the answer that our friends have given us is B. B is the best answer, control charts. If you have not watched my very lengthy video on YouTube about control charts, I want you to. So I would recommend watching it. Here's a link. I will put it in the chat. And for those who may be watching after the fact, the best I can do here is put it on the screen. So very big link, my goodness. Okay, let me make it smaller and visible. All right, and those of you who want to watch it, if you just type in that number at the end, the Q51, that it'll take you there. That's the most I can do for now. It's the very best. Because I know those of you on YouTube, you don't have a chat to look at right now, but that will help you. All right, let's go to our next question. And as usual, I want you to, yes, that's very correct, Johanny. Johanny says, one must know the root cause or impact before going to CCB. The same way, even if you're the project manager and you're trying to raise a change request, you need to know what the change request is for. All right, let's go to our next question. Let us relaunch the poll. There we go. You're working on a 320 million budgeted construction project, which will be executed in 3 phases. Your management team has asked you to prevent any costly mistakes associated with frequently performed tasks on the construction site. What should the project manager create to achieve this? 1 minute. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Let's end the poll. Share the results. Rather polarized here. Majority have gone for option C, and that is because quality checklist is the best answer. Okay. KPIs are after the fact. Okay. The risk register is only going to help you identify what could go wrong, but it's not going to be a proactive action to prevent. So if you have a checklist of do this, do this, do this, do that, then this, that's going to help you more than a change management plan as well. So the answer is quality checklists, C. All right. Let's see what the PMBOK guide says about the checklist, what exactly it is. Okay. I think it might be under quality checklist. Let's see if it's there. Quality checklist, page 718. A structured tool used to verify that a set of required steps has been performed. All right. Some of them you just have to sniff them out and know, yeah, that's probably what it is. And this intuition, it comes from you doing this over and over and over and over and over again. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. All right, here's the next one. Your project manager managing a metro rail station remodeling project near Delhi to provide passengers with a better service and reduce waiting times for ticket purchasing. A stakeholder in the municipal government reports to you that information is lacking and asks you to give her the project status. What should the project manager do? Here's your poll. 1 minute. All right, my friends. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's end. Share the results. Rather polarized, but let's take a look at the rationalization here. All right. So think about it. A stakeholder says something's missing, information is lacking, give me project status. So, what is the best thing to do since you are a proactive project manager? Would you like to wait for another stakeholder to jump out of the woodworks to tell you something's wrong? No, no, no. As a project manager, you want to be proactive. So, ask the stakeholder, are you checking your email? That does not solve the problem. Don't do that. No. C, check the communications management plan to ensure that the stakeholders are included. But I did include you. You were there. That's not going to solve the immediate problem either. PMI does a lot of that stuff in the questions. They'll bake in, ask the stakeholder if there's a problem. No, all those things don't help. All right, B, refer to the communications management plan to ensure that all stakeholders are included. Go to your plan. Everyone was included. I can't believe it. Everyone, everyone was included. Would you do that? Or would you send out a brand new message to everyone? Okay, so I'm teasing. What you should do is you want to make sure the plan is not corrupt. Why is A not the best option? A is not the best option because if you went ahead and sent out the status update to everyone, okay, what happens on the next go round? And you sent it out to everyone that you had incorrectly. If you had incorrectly noticed or noted that some stakeholders should be on it, but they shouldn't be on it, or vice versa, you'll still be in a muddle. If you send the status to anyone who should have gotten it on the list, these two people may not be included. That's the problem. So sending it out to everyone on your email list is not the best thing. You actually want to make sure you catch any errors or problems by look at why B is the right answer. It's because of this. Ensure that all stakeholders are included, not just the ones that you've noticed, but everyone, because there could be some other people that may have an issue in receiving the communication. So this is what the PMI has given you, right? Sending an update to everyone could also be confusion. It could be too much information. It could be just unnecessary noise. All right. So in this case, what majority chose as the answer is what PMI have told you is the best answer. Okay. So the rationalization they give for it is important to ensure that all stakeholders are being included in the communication management plan, not just the ones who raised the issue, because there could be others who have not raised the issue but were not included. All right. That's that. And we'll take a look at one more and then we'll call it a day. Here's your final one. And here is your poll. Okay, I'm going to help you out with this one before you vote. Think about this. Don't allow yourself to be bullied on a project. One. Two, don't just go into the hole and say, you win. Take what you want from my project. Don't do that. I hope that helps you with your answer. All right. 3, 2, 1. This is a rather interesting question. So I'm going to give you a little lesson and then we're going to relaunch the poll. Okay. I'm not going to tell you the answer because I want you to learn a thing or two. All right. So a few lessons I want you to learn from this. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 1, you're going to get it. You got to negotiate for resources. Functional managers are important, but do not take no for an answer. Negotiate for resources when needed. So you remember that in Acquire Resources, one of the major tools and techniques they talk about in the PMBOK guide, just in case you've forgotten, you got to negotiate for your resources. You gotta hustle for your resources, right? Don't just let someone take away your resources. Don't do that. So let's see. This is under Acquire Resources. We're taking a look at the tools and techniques. This is on page 332. So it says the project management team may need to negotiate with functional managers, ensure that the project receives the best resources possible in the required time frame. But if that doesn't work, you also need to remember politics, power, and getting things done. All right. So you may need in that instance to do this. Here's your next lesson. Escalation may be necessary when dealing with things outside your control. Okay. Another thing that you need to learn is on the PMP exam, they'll give you things that make it look like you are being assertive, but you're not really solving the problem. For example, Phil wants to borrow a screwdriver from you. What should you do? And you need a screwdriver for your project. What should you do? A, tell Phil he cannot have the screwdriver. That is never the best option. It's never the best option because you are not solving the immediate problem. So, with that said, let us relaunch the poll. I think I've given you some ideas. Let's relaunch. Go for it. What do you think the answer is now that I've given you a new poll and I've explained a few things? I try to help you eliminate a few. Let's see if it works. Okay. Phil wants to borrow your screwdriver and you tell Phil you can't have it. It's the same thing as telling Phil, okay, give me one to replace the one you're taking from me. Doesn't help. All right. So I did sway some of your ideas. The answer to this, my friends, is A. It is the project management team ability to influence others plays an important role in negotiating resource allocation. That's just the politics of the organization. If getting to agreement is not possible, you need to escalate. So let's take a look at why some of them are not correct. The reassignment of the resources responsibilities to another, the fact that you understand there's some senior management politics at play, it tells you that you are not in a project oriented organization. Therefore, reassigning someone's responsibilities to another, you don't have the power to do that because it's already sounding like this is not a project oriented firm because there's a functional manager on the or a senior manager on the horizon. So informing the team and reassigning the resources responsibility, it's not in your power to do that. Explain to senior manager that this resource is fully committed. That does not solve the problem. Oh, you can't have Phil, is busy. No. Ask the senior manager to provide a replacement. Now, asking the senior manager to provide a replacement, wouldn't they have used whoever they had in the first place? You don't know that resource and the history behind it. So I know that it's like splitting hairs and it's a bit of a devious question, but what this should teach you is that escalating to a program manager, if there is one, and obviously we need to infer that there is one from the options given to us, that is the best. So this one, I mean, I could argue with it, but when you think of it, asking someone to provide a replacement when they're taking away a resource from you, they would have used that, wouldn't they? And secondly, it sounds as though it's a politically charged place where you don't have the clout to ask them, all right, you give me a replacement. No. But the program manager may know better. All right. It's one of those things that makes you go, PMI. But yeah. And the reason why we do this, the more you do them, the more you work on this type of question, the better you will become. Shamir says, I hate this kind of question because negotiation wasn't included. That's true. And the question didn't mention there was a program manager. I know. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. But you can ask yourself, the replacement resource, are they going to do as good a job as the essential resource? And do you have enough clout to demand that? No, but maybe the program manager does. Okay. It's one of those things, I know, but we got to get used to seeing it. We got to drink the Kool-Aid, and more than anything else, you got to be ready to roll with it. There's some that you're going to win easily, hands down. And there's some you're just going to have to let go and take a best guess. And questions like this get you into the groove of best guessing. Best guess and move on. Okay. So thank you all very much. I know this was meant to be a super short meeting. I dragged it out a little bit, but I think we got some value from it. So I'm going to stop the recording. And those of you watching after the fact, you know what to do. If you're looking for training and coaching for your exam, you need to go on down to the Praizion site. You need to let us help you. Wish you all the best. December 31st, that's going to be it. It's then going to be business, process, people, process, business. You don't want to be part of that. So let's get it done before December 31st.